Hello and welcome to Nathan But the Truth. Oh boy, you guys, we need to talk about slave mentality. It's not what you think. Uh, the people who possess slave mentality are your boule and your bourgeois. That's who holds slave mentality. I recently seen on social media somebody was uh, lambasting this fella, and it was a kooky Rayway type, and they accused him of having slave mentality. And I took offense to that because Pookie and Ray Ray don't have slave mentality. Pookie and Ray Ray operate from a degree of ignorance, as do I and so many of us others. When there's areas that we don't know about or whatever, we're operating from an area of ignorance where that we really can't articulate or uh, go in depth with our knowledge base about a particular subject matter or social ill or whatever. But it's the bourgeois and the boule. Now, you're going to be hearing that term boule a lot. What boule means is protector of the throne, essentially the throne of England. Okay, global white supremacy. That's what the throne of England represents. Uh, Globally, all the European nations are connected by that, and they have underlings that work to keep them in power in every land. And they're called boule. And in America, it's black, African, descendants of slaves who have been removed from the community base of African Americans, and they have been propped up. And their intent is to sustain global white supremacy because they have a stake in it. Okay, they have a place in the house. They're not going to ever want to see it crumble. Um, and that's called slave mentality because during chattel slavery, it was boule that fought hard to keep the plantations going. Okay, many times there was no white overseers on the plantation, didn't have to be, because they had in place, okay, boule, blacks who really essentially kept the others in line. It's that way in the U.S. prison systems. You go into U.S. prison systems and they will tell you many times, the guards don't run the prison, the inmates do. They keep other inmates in line. Okay. Several years ago, they had where black inmates were rebelling against these private prisons. And a lot of us didn't know about it because the media wasn't covering it. And what happened was they had black goon squads killing other black inmates who were protesting and refusing to work. They were having a work shortage, stopping from working, and they got other black inmates to kill them. They were being shipped up out of there in boxes. This is what's happening today. You will hear many African Americans jumping on this campaign trail, talking about the election. And I'm not for the election. I advocate that we not vote. And in doing so, I was told by several, when I tell them, I say, you have slave mentality. Uh, we have no business voting. And they want to argue, oh, we fought and died for the right to vote. We should vote. Oh, you man, you sound crazy, brother. Well, I sounded crazy back there on the plantation, too, when I said we need to escape. And that hole in the fence, you went and told Massa there was a hole in the fence, and You went and fixed that hole so I couldn't escape. I get it. I understand. That's a slave mentality. Because here's how I break it down. First of all, you have not fought for the right to vote. Okay? That whole civil rights thing was a sham. Okay? Giving you permission for 10 years. That's how long the Voter Rights Act was established. You can look it up. Remember, the podcast is called Nathan But the Truth. I don't lie. Voter Rights Act that was signed into law on a 10-year basis, renewable every 10 years. So in 1973 or 74, it never got ratified, ever. Hasn't even to this day. Okay? When Biden won election, they went to Biden and said, will you sign a presidential order for the Voter Rights Act? Because they had a Democratic senator that said, hell no. He met with Biden privately, and they both decided, no, we're not going to do Voter Rights Act. That was in 2021. Okay? Understand, you have no rights. When, in November 2020, when the election was tallied up and finalized, 28 states went to their called emergency session, went into session and removed rights of voters. Here recently, just the past couple of months, the state of Ohio removed 150,000 voters off the voter rolls. 150,000. 90% were black. You don't know this because the boule and the bourgeois don't want you to know this, because you have every right to then protest elections, period. That would send America down to ruins if you refuse to vote. Okay? If you refuse to take part in their political scheme. Okay? Don't vote. I made a video years ago saying don't vote. Okay? Remove yourself from their political system because you're not a part of it anyway. Okay? What I mean by that, I'm going to go deeper. You have no voter rights. Many of you are getting all excited because one candidate seems to be very oppressive with his speeches against African Americans. Talking about policing. That's always been a problem with African Americans. You have no rights in the scheme of policing. Okay, policing is a new construct. When I was born in 1959, there was only 12 countries that practiced policing. So when I hear some bitch talk about you need policing, damn lie. This world has existed without policing for eons of time. It's a new construct. And it's a construct designed with ill will intended. So, 1,500 people are taken out by the police, okay, every year. That is the reporting agencies. See, half of the policing agencies don't report who they unalive, okay? So that means that the number could be as high as 3,000 or more, because they're not reporting for a reason why they're taking you guys out, okay? Now, they have every right to do that according to their system, not their laws, their system, the way it's operating, okay? So, what are you voting for? You're saying you're voting because you think this one party is going to come with something that's going to hurt you, chapter or title 25 or whatever they're talking about, or I don't know. I don't even care what that thing document said, because it circumvents the Constitution, and the Constitution has never been something you live by anyway. When you read the Constitution and know the Constitution, as an African American, it doesn't apply to you, and you know it. I mentioned this before, there are constitutional audits going on. These people who are generally white males, okay, from mid 20s to early 40s, they go around challenging the policing in America, okay? And they call constitutional auditors, okay? They make money off of this. They don't do it to help your situation. They're not bringing African Americans or Native Americans or Latinos or Asians into the equation. They're doing this because they know that they can walk into the court systems once their rights, constitutional rights, are violated, and they can sue. And so they make a lot of money off of it. They brag about that. Some of them are very, very wealthy. They got millions in settlement because the police will come to them and say, let me see your ID. Well, they refuse, but an African American cannot refuse. That's a violation of your First Amendment right. Okay? You're not allowed to have a weapon in states such as the state of Ohio, where they have open carry, in the state of Texas. But police can come to any African American who has a gun and kill them, shoot them without even hesitating because he has a gun. But you say, well, we have a Second Amendment right. That's not for you, okay? And you cannot fight it because they're going to always find a way to justify that policeman killing that person, even though that policeman may have violated your First, Second, Fourth Amendment rights or Eighth Amendment rights. See, you don't even know what those amendment rights are, but a policeman takes an oath to protect the Constitution of the United States. And they don't even know what that oath is, what the Constitution is. Most of you don't. Okay? I will be posting the Constitution of the United States on my podcast so that you will realize you had no constitutional rights. Voting is not going to change anything for you no matter which party wins. During the lead up to the Civil War, the Africans on that plantation were scared. The scuttlebutt was they were just running around. They didn't know what to do. They were saying, where will we go? What will we do? That kind of mentality. Well, see, the plantation fed them, housed them, okay? It was a horrible place, but what lies around the corner for them? They didn't know. They were afraid to take on their own destiny. And slave mentality is not being willing to take on your own destiny, be in charge of yourself, handling your own freedoms. Why would you go to someone else to ask for freedom? That seems ridiculous. And you're sitting up here saying, well, I want to vote so that I can keep global white supremacy in power and over my life. I'm saying repel. Because, see, you have a better case for Declaration of Independence than anyone. You need to separate yourself from this quickly, okay? Things will be better. It's hard to tell you that now because you have that slave mentality. For some reason, you want to give me an argument on why you should be a part of the system. I laugh when I talk about the groups that are fighting for reparations. They're literally asking the devil to be nice and to give them a little something instead of saying, well, I don't want you to give me anything. I'm going to take what I want because I earned it. It's mine. That mentality is what the powers that be don't want you to develop. And if you declared your independence, then you would have that. Now, what am I doing? I am assembling a leadership council, not a whole bunch of brothers, just a few for a leadership council. We're going to get together and coordinate town hall meetings all across the country. Okay? Has nothing to do with the political system, has nothing to do with the elections. We're not even concerned with that. We're just concerned with uniting and getting these brothers to talking. Okay, we're going to create a website that is going to be community based. It's going to let everyone know in the community uh, who's unaliving us. Okay, because with what is it, over 300 police officers that are under the JAMA, Journal of American Medical Association's um, description or definition of a serial killer. Okay, 300 are wearing badges and guns. They have 3+ kills under their belt. 3+. Okay. The guy that killed George Floyd, he had two. Okay, two kills. A lot of people don't know that. He killed a teenager. Okay, prior to George Floyd. See, they keep this from you. Okay. Um, these are things that's important to know, and they will be known once we get together. We will establish the website. The website will also, like I said, it's community based, so it's going to deal with a lot of the situations of children abductions, uh, children being harmed, um, and that's going to expose a whole lot of stuff. That's going to bring kids home, and it's going to cause a big stir. And I already have people in place that's going to be running and operating that. Okay, they're on social media right now. Okay, they post daily about missing children and stuff. So they're going to definitely be handling that aspect of the website. Another group is going to be handling the policing, what they call a police database. That's going to be huge. Every city, town, hamlet is going to be on that website. And it's going to have names and badge numbers and incident reports with these law professionals, so that it's not just, oh, because you don't like this police officer, you can throw his name up. No, it's going to be documented, because people make reports to the police saying, hey, this, I had this situation with this police officer, and it's documented. Okay, and that's what's going to be on the website. Okay, so all this is going to culminate into one thing. When those town hall meetings come together, those black men, they're going to turn around and say, oh, you know what? Um, we need to declare our independence. That's what's going to happen. When that happens, just even at the onset, when this is starting, when the town hall meetings are taking place, and they're happening in various cities, do you know the most die-hardened white extreme racist is going to start talking about reparations? Because, see, reparations is a form of control. They can still have control over you. Okay? You're seeking independence. You're separate. You're getting away from. Now, all of a sudden, reparations ain't such a bad idea. Maybe we should start talking about it to get those who are distant, wavering, weak, to get excited. But I'm saying resist. Oh, no. Don't come to me talking about reparations now. Okay? Just to try to quail me and get me under control. Kiss my black ass. Okay? It ain't gonna happen. Because, see, I have a mission. And my mission is to bring these brothers together. Okay? Because you guys, we've always been together. We don't have a problem coming together. We have a problem with leadership. And I want to stop the boule and the bourgeois from running around here discrediting people like me and other militants with their, oh man, they're dragged down of the black community. They'll say, "Oh, we don't have nothing. We don't stick together. We don't have no businesses." And well, when they do that, and they're talking about trying to build some kind of financial unity, okay, they don't really mean it because we already had that. We've had that too many times. What they ain't telling you is as soon as we do come together, and we don't have a problem doing that because cream rises to the top, uh, and in the form of probably over 50 or 60 cities throughout the country that were formed by black folks, that were run by black folks, descendants of slaves. Every one of them were burned down, torn down, flooded out. Down there in Florida, Lake Lanier was a thriving black community. It's underneath the lake. Okay, uh, so many cities in Florida, all the way from Florida to California. Okay, that were burned down because black folks were standing up. In 1950s, early 1950s, and I've written about this too many times, the United States got together with the Treasury Secretary of the United States and so many economists from all over the country and all the leading industrialists, big bankers, and they had a private meeting. And you know what they said? The black dollar, the black community, rather, let's put it right. The black community is where the US dollar goes to die. They said Jim Crow is killing us. We're going to have financial collapse. We're not going to be a country anymore because all of the money that goes to the black community stays there. It never comes out, ever, ever, ever. They talk about, black dollar go in the black community. It's out in 15 minutes. Y'all bragging about that. See, when some bitch tell me that, I'm subject to open your throat up. Because see, what you want is that to remain the case. Okay? You don't want to face the fact and talk about the true fact of the black dollar. Okay? Let's turn that baby black. All right? Because back when I was born in 1959, the dollar bill that my mother and father spent, it was spent in the black community. And it stayed there. It traveled all around and came back into their hands several times over. Okay? So it's a damn lie when you sit up and say that to me because I recognize you as being one of those Negroes that I need to open their throat up. Take you out your misery. Because the fact is that we always have taken care of our own. Okay? Jim Crow was hurting them. So that's why they sent them coons down there in Selma. They're Negroes, okay, down there to start a bus boycott. It was choreographed. Rosa Parks had an automobile. And when the magazines went to talk to her, they went to her employer. She was a seamstress, true enough, but she worked out of the back of the people's house who she was cleaning. And Time and Life magazine was there at the door knocking, and they heard all this noise inside. She was in there having sex with the white man who owned her business or whatever, her sewing business, who she was working for. Okay? One of them boulets, okay? Light, bright, damn near white, okay? That's what was going on there. And they all you gotta do is you just go and research that shit. You'll find out everything is true because it was choreographed. What they were doing was the North wasn't assisting, the media wasn't assisting black folk. They were assisting themselves. You thought you got a little something from the deal. What you did was you shut down every black bank, every black insurance company, which was underwriting the banks. Okay, so now you can just collapse your economic system right there. You shut down all your restaurants, you shut down all your hotels, your resorts. You had black resort. Okay, you had everything, black service stations you could go to get your car fixed. You had black bus stations that you could go. You had black taxi services. You had everything Now you have none of it. That's what they did. That helped who? Did it help you? Because right now, you go in a restaurant, and if they don't want you there, they're calling the police, and the police will escort you out and say that you're being trespassed. You go to the bank, what's that saying? Banking while black? Yeah. I don't know how many times corporate banks, the big name banks, black folks are being arrested. Arrested. Police coming in. Now, this is supposed to be civil because you have not committed a crime. But they come in and arrest the black person for trying to cash their own check from their car. Okay? And it happens all the time. That's called banking while black. Now let me let the siren go by for a minute because this is comical. You guys, first thing you dumbasses do is go call corporate. We gonna complain. What I know, because I'm a fisherman, I love to fish, I love the outdoors. A fish rots from the head down. I'm gonna say that again. A fish rots from the head down. It don't start at the tail. The rot is up at the head. It's not our corporate policy, this and that, but it happens every day. Blacks are having a police called on them at a bank. Blacks are going on airplanes, sitting in first class after they have paid for first class and being told to get up and leave. They have to give that seat to someone else. And then the black person will get upset and say something, then, well, you got to be removed from the plane. Okay? There was one situation, a black man, he's at the airport, minding his own business. A lady crowds in front of him in line in the kiosk. He complains to her. She turns around, spits on him, curses him out, calls him all kind of names. He gets upset and takes his complaint to the workers. The workers barred him from the plane. Didn't say a thing to the woman. They can do that because the rot starts at the head of the fish. Okay? They don't want to stop that. You guys caused that. That's your problem. Okay? You're trying to sustain global white supremacy, and you're running around here by doing that. The way you sustain it is that you go to them complaining and looking weak and bewildered. Instead of saying, well, I'll be damned. If I can't fly on this plane, ain't nobody flying on this goddamn thing. And then tell them, say, hey, I just put a big B on there. And then they got to halt every flight and go through every package. And I do it every time to them until they get the hint. Okay? Now, there's no big B there, but they have to look for it. They got to pull every package off that plane. They got to stop that plane. They got to halt every flight in that airport. And when you do that enough, they'll get, maybe we should leave these black folks alone. They make up 5% of the world's population, and they're supposed to be 99% of the people on that plane in the United States. I'm sorry, I don't accept that. So you guys need to remove yourself from their political system. Okay? You'll help yourself a lot better than if you run around here talking about like you fought for the right to vote. You ain't fought for a goddamn thing. That was some white industrialists up in the north that did that. You didn't do it. You weren't inspired to do it. The media did that for you. Just like the media right now, if they wanted to put a stop to banking while black, the media could start exposing. If they wanted to put a stop to black children being attacked and assaulted in the school system, they just expose it. Show it to the world. Okay? That's how they can assist you. They're not, they're the ones who are in control. You're not. You don't want to stop a damn thing because you want to stop me from running my mouth because I'm saying I want to stop it and I know how to stop it. I have a plan. Listen, I love you. I am Nathan Robinson. Good night.